Hello, friends, and welcome to the Liz Moody Podcast, where every week we're sharing real science, real stories, and realistic tools that actually level up every part of your life. I am your host, Liz Moody, and I am a best-selling author and longtime journalist. We share a lot of wisdom on this podcast. We share a lot of expert advice and a lot of specific solutions for problems that you run into. But one question that I get over and over and over is, if I were starting my health journey from the beginning, where would I begin? What should I prioritize? And that is what we are going to get into today. And true to the ethos of the Liz Moody Podcast, this isn't going to be just about physical health, but our mental health, our relationship health, because I firmly believe they are all connected. One of the top things that people miss in the wellness world is over-focusing on physical health without realizing that they are all connected. Like, a really easy illustration of this is that our stress levels negatively impact our microbiome. Our microbiome impacts our serotonin levels, our dopamine levels, our melatonin levels. So right there, that's going to impact our happiness, our motivation, how well we're able to sleep. And all of that is 100% going to impact how we show up at work and in our relationships. And if we feel like we're failing at work or in our relationships, well, that's going to raise our stress levels, and that's going to start the entire cycle over again. It is so important to understand that cycle, to understand that it is all connected, because that is how you're going to actually get the results that you want. So with all of that in mind, the first thing that I want you to start with is thinking about the identity that you want to embody. There is so much research that shows that when we lead with our identity, habits are much more likely to stick. So instead of, I want to read 10 books this year, it's identifying as a reader. And then the next time that you're sitting around wondering what to do, you're like, oh, I'm a reader. I will grab a book. So the best place to start with this is just, I am a person who makes healthy choices. That is your new identity. And moment to moment, when you are making choices, you can ask yourself, is this what a healthy person would do? What I love about this is that it breaks through all of the BS, like the nitty-gritty things that people argue about online, and it lets us check in with our gut on what we know are healthier choices. Like, when you wake up in the morning, would a healthy person lay in bed scrolling, or would they get up and take a walk outside? If you're making dinner, would a healthy person load up on more veggies? Probably yes. So throughout everything else that we're going to talk about today, I want you to keep coming back to identity. I waved a magic wand. You are a healthy person now. Now we can watch all of your healthy choices stem from that. The next thing that I want to focus on is energy. If we do not have energy, we're not going to be able to stick with any other healthy habit, period. Getting our energy in order has to be one of the first steps of any health journey, which is why over and over, doctors and experts that I have on the podcast emphasize the importance of sleep. If you do nothing else but start getting good sleep, you are going to improve your inflammation levels. You are going to improve your brain health. You're going to improve your hormone health, your mental health, your microbes, and you will have the energy that you need to both enjoy your day and get what you need done in it. There are truly a million sleep tips out there, but the ones that I think are the most important based on the research that I've read and the experts that I've interviewed and my personal experience are, first of all, no phone before bed for at least an hour before bed if you can do it. Just don't have your phone an hour before bed. Even if you feel like you're getting good sleep scrolling before bed, it is disrupting the quality of your sleep, so you are not getting the restoration that you need. The blue light messes with your circadian rhythm, which is the internal clock that tells all of your cells what time it is and helps them function optimally. The content itself is designed to be stimulating. Our stress gets really activated. Our brains wake up instead of calm down. If all you did was end screen time at least an hour before bed, your sleep would improve dramatically. I also want you to think about light exposure, not just from our screens, but generally. And I want you to have bright light exposure during the day and then dim your lights at night. Like, if you have a bright bathroom light that you brush your teeth by every single night, that is disrupting your circadian rhythm, and it is signaling to your brain that you should be awake. Ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed, you want to switch off your overhead lights. You want to switch on some nice low light lamps, create a vibe, and you want to start telling your circadian clock that it is nighttime. You will sleep better, but you're also going to notice a huge, huge decrease in stress in the evening hours, which is both nice in the moment, but also, again, that's going to translate to better sleep. Also, keep your bedroom colder than you think. You need your body temperature to drop for optimal sleep. My bedroom, personally, my husband hates this, but I'm always telling him that it's helping him get the sleep that he needs. My bedroom is 64 degrees. And you want it to be dark. Get an eye mask if you can't get blackout curtains, because even small amounts of light can disturb our sleep, making us feel more tired the next day, even if, again, we feel like we slept. My personal 2 favorite blackout masks are the Drowsy Silk Sleep Mask with the eye cups. That's very, very important, the eye cups. They say it's for eyelashes. I don't care about my eyelashes, but that will help you get better sleep. And then the Manta Pro Mask, the one specifically for side sleepers. The Manta one, I think, has better blackout qualities, but their silk one is really uncomfy, in my opinion, personally. So it's worse for hair and skin. So just prioritize what matters to you there. And then the last sleep tip that truly feels like a miracle worker. I hear from you guys how stunned you are by how well it works all of the time. And this is going to come back to light again, is to take a morning circ walk. Circ is short for circadian, so essentially this morning walk is telling your cells, first thing in the day, hello, it is morning. And then those cells knowing what time it is going to help them function optimally all day long. You are going to digest your food better. You are going to poop more regularly. You are going to feel more energized all day long, and you will sleep better at night. Aim for 15 minutes as close to when the sun rises and you wake up as possible. And you really want to be properly outside for this. You don't want to just be viewing the light through a window. So 15 minutes, you can walk, you can sit. I do like walking. I feel like it does something different for my brain. But get outside 15 minutes as close to when you wake up and the sun rises as possible. I also have a whole circ walk highlight on my Instagram at Liz Moody. And if you have any more questions about circ walks, they are likely answered there. And then the last thing that I want to mention in terms of sleep and energy and in terms of so many other things, because again, this is like a web. All of this is connected. This is another keystone habit that I recommend to anyone starting on their health journey. Begin incorporating movement into your life. And I mean into your life. I don't mean begin working out. I mean begin incorporating movement throughout your day. Moving throughout your day is far, far better for your overall health than sitting on your butt for 8 hours, but then hitting the gym for 30 minutes, for an hour at one point during the day. And going back to what we talked about at the beginning, I want you to start identifying as a person who moves. That means you are a person who takes the stairs. You're a person who parks in distant, faraway parking spots. You're a person who goes for a walk during a 10-minute break during your meetings. Being a person who moves is going to give you so much more energy throughout the day. It's going to make you more productive. It's going to help you sleep better at night. It's going to benefit your metabolic health, which has downstream benefits for cancer risk, for dementia risk, and so much more. There's actually a really amazing study that showed that moving throughout your day, think of like taking a short walk, moving your body once every hour or so, had better metabolic health results than sitting all day and then doing one larger workout. One of my all-time favorite studies, like I love this study so much, found that 4 1.5-minute bursts of exercise throughout the day, like doing a quick cleaning session, a quick dance session, carrying a child was on the list, carrying heavy groceries, 4 1.5-minute bursts of these types of exercise resulted in a 32% lower risk of cancer. 32% lower. You can lower your cancer risk by a third in less than 5 minutes spread throughout your day. We spend a lot of time on the internet arguing over the best workout routines, but being a person who moves will get you so many of the benefits, and that is without the overwhelm of navigating the gym or tracking your heart rate. And then once you have that down, once you are solidly a person who moves, the next thing that I would add in terms of movement is weight training of some sort a few times a week, and then something that gets your heart rate up a few times a week. So we have the strength, and then we have the cardiovascular component. We have a whole free beginner's workout guide that we did for our New Year's plan, and I can link that for you in the show notes. That's going to tell you what you can do every single day if you want to add in that strength training and that cardiovascular component. There's some really cool science in that too, so I'll link that in the show notes. But first, I really, 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 really want you to take on the identity of being a person who moves. And I want you to incorporate movement as much as possible throughout your day. Okay, let's talk about food. People in the health world love to talk about food. They talk about food all of the time, and there are two main reasons for this. Actually, maybe three. The first is the most insidious one, which is there's a lot of potential for people to make money off of food, whether it's confusing you about what to eat, so you watch their content or you pay for their meal plan, or it's getting you hyped about a new healthy snack that you can buy. Almost any food trend that you see is going to be driven by someone, somewhere, trying to make money. My small caveat to this is that science is always evolving, and when we discover new information and that information makes its way into the world, that is not a trend, that is a different thing. But in general, trends are not going to be the thing that makes a real difference in your health, so I want you to start looking out for that and kind of blocking that noise. The second reason that you hear people talking about food, though, is because we have to eat food every single day to stay alive. So it becomes one of the habits that we're engaging with the most often that can either help our goals or hurt our goals. And that brings me to point 3. There's a lot of research that shows that the food that we eat really does have a big influence on our health. This is something that people debate online all of the time, and the research is just so clear at this point. What we consume has a real impact on how we feel, on our disease risk. But here is the one thing that I want you to internalize. It is far more important what fills up 80% of your diet, and the vast majority of the internet is arguing about that last 5 to 20%. That is noise, that is distraction, that is confusing you, and it is keeping you from living the healthy life that you deserve. So let's go back to our identity trick. We are identifying as healthy eaters. And the basic tenets of healthy eating are fairly agreed upon by scientists and also things that you likely intuitively know. We want to fill our body with nutrients. In fact, one of the biggest reasons that less healthy foods are, less healthy for us is not necessarily because of what they do to our bodies, although there are issues with that too, but because we are filling up before we are getting in all of our nutrients. We want to eat our nutrient-dense food first so we can fit in those nutrients before we fill up, and then anything else that you crave can come after that. And while there are a lot of issues with ultra-processed food and new research comes out fairly regularly about its negative health impacts, one of the biggest issues is simply that we've stripped a lot of nutrients from that food, and then it's taking up a huge amount of space on our plate. It's like wanting to pack a suitcase efficiently for a trip and then putting in a huge blown-up balloon. You need that valuable space. The most nutrient-dense foods tend to be colorful plants as close to their whole plant form as possible. We're talking like carrots, arugula, cabbage, watercress, red peppers, Brussels sprouts. These are the foods that are both going to give you the nutrients that you need to fuel your cells, but they're also going to have diverse types of fiber that will feed different microbes in your gut, which is going to have systematic positive impacts on your entire body. And they're going to make you feel full and satisfied. I do not want you to take anything off the table. I just want you to go through your day, and every time you eat, think, how can I add more nutrient-dense foods to this? Maybe you are having a burger for dinner. Can you have a big leafy green salad before? Or maybe some carrots with hummus. Maybe you're having a muffin for breakfast. Can you eat a small chia pudding topped with some nuts and seeds and berries on the side? If you're having boxed mac and cheese, can you toss in some frozen broccoli? If you do nothing but think, every time I eat, how can I add more plants to this? You will make vast long-term improvements in your health, and you will feel so much better. If you want bonus points, if you want to take it one step further, the next food thing that I would recommend is trying to keep your blood sugar stable, which is going to avoid the spikes and crashes that deplete your energy throughout the day. They also make you crave foods that are less health supportive. It's going to decrease your risks of long-term health conditions like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and chronic inflammation. To mitigate those spikes, the main thing that I want you to do, we're still adding here, we're not taking anything out. I want you to add protein and fiber to all of your meals and snacks. So if you are having an apple, have it with some nut butter. Add some chicken or beans to your pasta sauce. You can blend white beans into any store-bought pasta sauce, and it just makes it kind of more creamy, and it packs in a ton more protein and fiber. If you're wondering if a food is high in fiber or protein, just do a quick Google search. Some of this is intuitive, but some is definitely learned, and the more that you do quick little searches, the more knowledge you will accumulate. So in the food realm, to recap, we are filling up on as many whole foods as possible without worrying about depriving ourselves of anything. We are focused on adding in whole foods and mostly plants and not the taking out. And we're thinking at every single meal, every single snack, does this have protein and fiber? And if not, how can I add some? One more quick little bonus in the food realm. Drink more water. Recent research has found that 75% of people in the US are chronically dehydrated. So that likely means you. Drinking water is not a miracle cure, and the Hollywood actresses who say that it is are definitely spending thousands of dollars on plastic surgery and skincare that they're not telling you about. But the truth is, most of us are going through life chronically dehydrated, and that is impacting our energy, it's impacting our cognitive function, it's impacting our digestion. One of my favorite gut health doctors that I've had on the podcast talks about dehydration being a top cause of constipation and bloating all of the time. Also, constipation and bloating are super related. If you feel bloated, it is very often because you are constipated. So drink that water. Do whatever you need to do to make water appealing to you. Add delicious electrolyte powders. I love buying bottles of fresh lemon and lime juice. I add them to my water. I drink herbal teas like it is my job. Just try to be sipping some form of water throughout the day. And then the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to food is to consider your environment. One of the best rules of habits is to make the habits that you want to have easy and the ones that you don't want to have hard. I have a huge sweet tooth and I don't want to mindlessly eat sweets. So the only thing that I keep in my house are sweet ingredients. I can make myself something sweet, but it will take time and thought and care and effort. I have tried about a zillion times to be a person who has a stash of Justin's nut butter cups and eats only one a day, and I am not that person. And even if you are that person, is that how you want to use your limited supply of willpower? Although, by the way, there's a ton of research that shows that our environment shapes our habits far more than willpower. Like, we think someone has a lot of willpower because they go to the gym every single day, when in fact, research shows it's more likely that the gym is right by their office or their house, or it's on their commute home. A key difference between people who live healthy lives and people who don't is about how convenient those healthy choices are. This is one of the reasons why health is a societal issue and a systemic issue. We make the choices that our environment makes easy. So how can you make your environment work for you? Surround yourself with the foods that you want to eat. Make the veggies and the hummus the first thing that you see when you open your fridge because you're hankering for a snack. If you don't want to eat chips, do not keep them in your house. Don't join a gym that's out of the way or across town. Maybe your first step is just getting some dumbbells in your house. Make your environment work for you, not be an additional obstacle that's in your way. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do if you are starting your health journey is to consider your relationships to be as key of a part of your health as anything that we have talked about so far. I'm so sorry. My deepest apologies to long-term listeners, but I am going to quickly mention the Harvard study of adult development again. This is the world's longest continuously running study of human beings, and I had the current director of it on the podcast, and he said that the number one takeaway of this study is that our relationships are the number one most important thing in terms of long-term health and happiness. The strength and quality of our relationships not only impacts our mental health on a day-to-day basis, it impacts how calm we are, how joyful we are, but it also impacts our literal physical health. Like, we will literally live longer if we have stronger relationships. So that is the first shift, just to recognize that our relationships aren't some sort of bonus reward that exists outside of a healthy life. No, they are a key pillar of a healthy life. And then let's bring in the identity component. If you are a person who has strong relationships, what choices are you going to make? For me, once I made that identity shift, I became a person who sent voice notes to my friends when I had little breaks during my day instead of scrolling on my phone. I became a person who told my friends and family when I thought of them, which, by the way, I had on Vanessa Van Edward. She is an expert in charisma, and she said one of the most charismatic phrases in the English language is, "I was thinking of you." We love to be thought of. Don't lie about it, but chances are that you're thinking about the people that you love all day long, so shoot them a quick text. And then another big shift that I made here was planning time with the people that I love and putting it in my calendar, which gives it the same status as work meetings and deadlines and doctor's appointments, and it makes sure that it actually happens. I have date nights with Zach in my calendar. For a lot of my good friends, this is actually one of my favorite micro tips. I have at least one recurring plan. So I have a group of girlfriends that we have a game night once a month with our partners. I have a book club once a month. And these things are always on, say, the last Sunday of the month. So I know that no matter what else happens, I will see those friends and I will touch base on those relationships. So I want you to identify as a person who prioritizes relationships. I want you to act like that person. I want you to make plans and put them on the calendar. And then the last important thing when it comes to relationships is to do things together. We have become a society of people who catch up. We get together and we talk about the lives that we've lived apart from each other. This is what's going on at work. This is what's going on at home. This is the vacation that I took. And then when everyone runs out of stuff to catch up on, you go your separate ways. Friendship is not built off of catching up. It's built off of living life together. It's built off of having adventures together. You want to create stories, not just retell them. That's the stuff that builds relationships. Do a group trip with your friend. Take an improv class. Take them with you to the DMV. Do not just meet up at a bar or a restaurant. Catching up is killing relationships. And on that note, that is my guide to where you should start if you are beginning your journey into the health world. You may notice what is not on here, a bunch of expensive treatments or supplements. I love supplements. I think they can make a huge difference in people's health. I've seen them make a huge difference in my own health, in Zach's health, in my friend's health. And until you are doing everything on this list, you do not need to spend your money that way. The things that we have talked about today are the things that are going to make a huge difference in anybody listening's health and their life. And then after that, you can hone in on what are the supplements for your unique problems that you're trying to solve, your unique levels that you're trying to up-level in your health journey. What are the treatments that'll help with that? But this stuff right here is going to help anybody listening. It's also so important for me to communicate that being healthy does not have to be incredibly difficult, time-consuming, or expensive. It's about feeling the way that you want to feel as often as possible. It's about living a life where you are energized and calm and connected and joyful, where you can be productive when you need to be, where you can relax when you need to be. Wellness is a tool. These are all steps that should get you closer to your dream life, not pull you further away from it. The second that being healthy starts to stress you out, it is no longer healthy. Please remember that. I hope that this was all helpful. Please send this episode to anyone that you know who wants to feel better, who knows that they deserve to feel better, but who's overwhelmed by all of the BS and craziness in the wellness world. Thank you so much to everybody out there sharing the podcast. Not only are you helping the people that you love, you're also allowing us to keep producing great content and getting great guests for you, and it's very, very, very appreciated. Make sure that you hit that follow button on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. We have amazing new episodes every Monday and Wednesday, and following means that they will show up right in your feed, so you will not miss them. You can also now watch full video episodes on Spotify and YouTube. So if you're watching, hello. We need like a secret handshake or something that I don't know, a sign that you only see if you're watching, and we feel like we have some sort of secret communication. We'll figure that out. You can also come hang out on Instagram. I'm at Liz Moody. I share tons of inspiring, always very, very real content, and exactly how I am using everything that we learn on the podcast in my real life. Okay, I love you, and I will see you for the next episode of the Liz Moody Podcast. Oh, just one more thing. It's the legal language. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, a psychotherapist, or any other qualified professional.